Hi, and welcome to the Haverhill Journal, where we take a look at what's happening now in our city. I'm Lindsay Paris, and today we're visiting one of the largest antique collections in New England, and also hearing about the antiques of the future that are going into Haverhill's newest time capsule. But first, last week, City Council paved the way for the sale of the St. Gregory the Illuminator Armenian church building at 110 Main Street, on the market for the past 15 years, to a commercial developer. The sale has not been without its controversy, however, as many residents are discouraged at the potential loss of another historic building downtown. The Journal met with church and city officials and concerned citizens to get their perspective. The St. Gregory the Illuminator Armenian congregation, who have been planning a new building for over 20 years, is elated to finally be able to construct their long-awaited home in Ward Hill.
Back in the 90s, there was a move to build a new church, and people in the Lawrence Holy Cross Church knew they couldn't build it alone. So we came to our brothers here at the Haverhill St. Gregory's Church and suggested that we'd merge together. And there was an agreement to sell both churches and move to the new property which we had purchased in June of 2000. This first time in North America that two Armenian churches are merging to one to build a new church. So we feel really special about making this happen and being successful at it. As far as this property goes, we have somebody that's interested right now who wants to just take the chapel down, the church down. We've had people from churches look at it, people who want to put a theater in here, all kinds, and it's cost prohibitive because of all the renovations it would need.
Although residents are happy about the Armenian congregation's long overdue expansion, many are very unhappy to see the destruction of a historic building for retail development. Designer Michael Valvo of the Highlands Neighborhood Association spoke out at City Council against the development.
Our group is extremely unhappy with this. Extremely unhappy that our councilors did not consult us and they voted in this way. And I think this is one of the situations where the neighborhoods that are immediately adjacent were not involved as much as they should have been. We don't want a Domino's. Look at what's happened to the CVS. Look at the strip mall atmosphere that's down Main Street. That 19th century silhouette is now going to be gone. Haverhill is a big city. It has lots of different neighborhoods that need to have a goal and a vision. And that vision needs to be cohesive right throughout the city.
I filed an ordinance, local legislation, that would have imposed a 6-month demolition delay to give us one last chance to find somebody that would save the church. I understood the council's perspective. The perspective of the Armenian church was that the city, the mayor wants a 6-month delay. We've already had a 5-year delay. The city stopped them from putting in a Burger King by denying them a special permit. There's no special permit requested with the Domino's. They have a right to be there, and we cannot stop them.
One of the first Romanesque Revival-style churches in America, the Alpheus Morse-designed First Parish Unitarian Meeting House was built in 1848.
That building is on the National Register of Historic Places. It's on the State Register of Historic Places and has been since the early 1990s. It's really been part of our history for a long, long time, and it's very sad to see it going. People who own private property have a right to demolish their buildings. You can delay it, but ultimately if the owner of a building wants to demolish it, they have a right to demolish it.
Churches, buildings outlive their usefulness. I don't know that this has. It seems to be a perfect opportunity to bring people up to that location, which could be a number of things, a performance space, a city department or extension to the library. Something that's more public, user-friendly.
The mayor told us design work on the new development is still being done, and not without the city's influence.
What we can do is have some regulation over what goes in there next. And what we're allowed to do is have what's called design review. That was part of the ordinance I submitted to the City Council. It did not pass, but I am going to be meeting with the owners of the Domino's Pizza. Ask them if they'll come up with a better design. They don't have to do it, but they've indicated they'd like to work with me. I think for the future, what we have to do is protect the rest of these beautiful buildings on Main Street. If something else does go in, and we can do the same thing with Domino's, if something else does go in, we could try to make it look a lot nicer with outdoor dining and a structure that looks more like the library across the street. That's the power that we do have, and I believe we should exercise it.
The new building that we're moving to on Boston Road, on the Bradford North Andover line, is very exciting. It's an exciting piece of property. It's really a great building for us. It's going to allow us to do many things. Actually, we're talking about having it ready for Armenian Christmas, which is the first week of January. It's been a dream, as you know, for 22 years, and right now it's on its way.
They're doing a wonderful job over there. And if somebody comes to Haverhill 100 years from today, they will see the beautiful new church that the Armenian community is building, and they will say, what a beautiful historic structure. And they will wonder if it's been there forever, and some mayor will say, oh, let me tell you about the history of this and how it got started.
The new Armenian church at High Point will be opening early next year. The time frame of demo and construction at the Main Street site has not been clarified at this time. You may not know that one of New England's largest historic artifact collections is located here in Haverhill at Historic New England's Research and Storage Facility. The Essex Street building is home to tens of thousands of items, including clothing, furniture, and household objects, and recently underwent a renovation to provide a climate and light-controlled storage space for its precious antiques. Historic New England's curatorial staff welcomed us in for a tour. So we are here inside the newly renovated Historic New England Research and Collection Facility, and I am here with Nicole Chalfant. So hi, thank you very much for having us.
Good morning. So I'm the collection manager here. Historic New England was founded in 1910 by William Sumner Appleton. Our collection focuses on New England domestic objects. So we have paintings, textiles, both costume and domestic textiles, glass, ceramics, lighting fixtures, fire buckets, sculpture, pretty much anything that New Englanders would have had in their homes from the beginning of New England to the present day.
So what are we going to be seeing today in the new kind of renovated facility?
Our new space is housing household textiles, which are stored rolled, ceramics and glass. We also have moved our shoes and jewelry collections into that space. There's a lot of really great things to see in there. This building is wonderful. It's a historic building, so as a preservation organization, we treat it as such. We moved on to 2 floors in 1988 and just really fell in love with the community, the area, and we purchased the building in 2006 and have moved our collections onto just about all of the floors. So this is what we've been working on for the last 2 years. We built a room within a room to allow us a little bit more control over the climate, and we can go into our new space now. This is one of our greatest treasures. This is Sarah Norton, painted by Edmund Burne-Jones. Sarah Norton's father, Charles Eliot Norton, was one of the first professors of art history at Harvard University. So Sarah, who functioned as her father's kind of social secretary as her mother had passed away, was visiting Burne-Jones in London with her father, and he painted this portrait as a gift for her father. This grouping came to us as a gift in 1990. This is Sarah Norton, painted a little bit later, again in England in 1915. We actually got the earrings that she's wearing in this painting as well. So we have these groups of objects that really together tell great stories about New England families. We moved about 11,000 pieces of ceramics into this space. These are some really beautiful pieces. This is lusterware, so it actually has a metallic glaze to give it either a bronze or a silvery kind of sheen to it. So you can imagine this on a table with gas lights and candlelight, how it would flicker and reflect the light, and it would have been really beautiful.
We are here at the collection that I enjoy the most, the textiles collection. So tell us a little bit about what we're looking at.
So this is some highlights that we've pulled out to show to people who come on tours. The orange dress is designed by Oleg Cassini, who was made popular when Jackie Kennedy started wearing him. And next to it is a dress actually made from a lace tablecloth for a bride by her sister in 1969. She wore that to her rehearsal dinner.
Designer gowns, but then you have something made of a tablecloth. What's the rigorous, selection process to make the cut?
That's a great question. For us, it's about the story. It's about being able to use the object to tell a story of family life in New England. So, for example, the tablecloth dress, it's a tablecloth, but coming with all of the other objects that talk about the relationship of those two people and how they were living in New England, along with photo documentation.
Now, do all these objects go on exhibition at some point so that everybody can see them? Or?
Yes, this is a very actively used collection between researchers coming in, tours coming through, things go out on loan to other institutions. We currently have objects out at the Guggenheim, the PB Essex, MFA, so things are going out all of the time on exhibition. So our jewelry collection is getting rehoused as part of this project, which has really been beneficial for the collection. So here we're seeing some pieces that were brought back to New England from travelers to the continent during their grand tour. These are really wonderful micro mosaics. So all of these pictures are made from teeny tiny little pieces of stone.
I like the Roma, the sparkly Roma.
We're opening up a new exhibition space at the Eustis Estate in spring of 2017, where we'll be doing a jewelry exhibition called Mementos, Jewelry of Life and Love in New England. It'll be fantastic. As part of our 20th Century Collecting Initiative, we've recently come in a crock pot, which had a really great story of the family making the Sunday roast every Sunday, every week, an Oster blender, toaster ovens, telephones with cords.
You know, a lot of us had this stuff in our house. My mother had the blender growing up. I mean, it's not stuff you think of as historic, but I suppose it is, right?
And in 100 years, it will be.
So you have a great space here. How can people get a view of your marvelous collections?
So I highly recommend historicnewengland.org. Our collection is available in our online collection database, so you can search for chairs and see information about all the chairs we have. There's also an events page where you can see when we're having tours and when we're having public events at all of our other properties. We do public tours where we see this floor, the furniture floor, also our conservation lab and our photo studio. So there's a more expanded tour that people should definitely look out for and come on.
Thank you so much for having us today, and hopefully we'll be back again to see the furniture.
Absolutely, come back anytime.
Historic New England's Haverhill facility hosts several public tours and events each year, including a decorative arts event coming up in October. For more information on their calendar of events or to view their collections online, visit historicnewengland.org. Where in Haverhill can you find a market basket receipt, a free Brady t-shirt, a 2016 calendar, and a $20 bill? Well, you can find all that stuff at my house, but also those are just a few of the items that were ceremoniously placed in the Harbor Place time capsule in mid-June. Team Haverhill and Merrimack Street Venture Properties organized the time capsule project and hosted a special ceremony to celebrate it.
The idea originally came from Sally O'Rourke, who is a member of the Greater Haverhill Foundation, really one of the two principals, along with Ron Trombley, that made Harbor Place a reality. So it was her idea to have this time capsule dedication, and just with the history really of the Woolworth building that had been there before, the history even going back prior to that this is a new birth and it's a new start to downtown Haverhill. Some of the more interesting items, one was the just photo of, from 1892, the downtown, and then the photo from today with, Harbor Place going up.
What the committee was looking for was a photograph of a building that was there before the Woolworth building, which was torn down. And I knew there was a building there. I'd seen pictures of it before, but I really didn't know too much about it. So I reached out to my friend Jack Lynch to my left, and Jack inundated me with about a dozen photographs and did a lot of the research, which resulted in the write-up that's in the capsule today.
I guess the Haverhill Hillies, the photos of the 3 different classes that we met with, so the Haverhill High students, the Tilton Tiger 2nd graders, and the Hunking 6th graders.
We put in a picture of our class.
Very cool. Now what class and what school do you guys go to and what grade are you in?
We are in 2nd grade, Tilton Tiger Elementary School.
Well, today I put in the Heartbeat of Haverhill, a 2016 calendar. Throughout the year, I had been collecting pictures, being at every event I could, and picked out 12 representative photos from Haverhill from this last year that I thought would be great to have as part of a calendar. And it is coincidental that there are some very historic things in there. For example, there is the Stephen Street Fire building after the trees started growing back around, and now that's been demolished. There's one of the last pictures of the Woolworth building, which has now been demolished and making place for Harbor Place. Just
A great project and a lot of fun ideas, and a lot of the students, it was a lot of talking about the technology from today and the technology of the future. So even with you guys at HC Media, with the flash drive, what will the technology be like 25 years from now? So the time capsule itself is about 18 inches long, then 16 inches in width, and then about 9 inches deep. It's going to be going into the first floor of Harbor Place. The plan is to have another reopening ceremony 25 years from now, so book your calendar, Lindsay, for June 15th, 2041.
I will be there. Will you be there?
I plan to be there, yes.
Will you be here in 25 years at the opening?
I absolutely intend to be here.
In 25 years, what do you guys think you'll be doing? Do you have any plans? Do you know what you want to be? What's that?
A paleontologist. A game designer. A nurse. Astronaut. NBA basketball player. Singer. Author.
Do you think you'll be returning to the time capsule opening ceremony in 25 years?
Well, if I do, I'll be coming in my wheelchair, I suspect. But who knows? The world of modern medicine, I may be here.
Exactly.
I wouldn't reserve a seat for myself. I'll be 94. So.
Go Tilted Tigers!
The time capsule will be installed in Harbor Place in July, and in 2041, with any luck, the Journal will be on hand to film the opening of it too. The 4th of July is only 5 days away, and the city is ready to celebrate big this year. The annual 4th of July festivities will be taking place on Sunday, July 3rd. This year, a carnival will return to the Riverside Park location beginning at noon, with music starting at 5 p.m. and culminating in a fireworks display at 9:15. As always, admission is free, and the rain date for the festivities is Tuesday, July 5th. If you have a story or event you'd like to see featured on the Haverhill Journal, call us at 978-372-8070 or email info@haverhillcommunitytv.org. And don't forget to like us on Facebook or at our HC Media YouTube channel. And that's what's happening in Haverhill the week of June 30th. I'm Lindsay Paris, and we'll see you next time.